Welcome back to European Austria. Let me say it's the Pax Europiana, obviously, the podcast about peace and prosperity, but this one is now about European Austria, and I would like to reiterate what needs to be done in order to reform Austria and to make it in a more European Austria. Because unfortunately now 2021 we are again backsliding in a crisis modus. Where is the tax reform which was so clearly promised by the new government? It was told and promised we will do 21 corporation tax. Where is that now exactly? Wasn't it necessary to reduce taxes? I don't hear that anymore. Where is the Western integration of Austria with culminating in NATO membership? I also don't hear anything about it. It's very surprising for me. The one big thing which Austria is so different from the other member countries in the European Union is that we are not in NATO. So let's get this done. These are the two most important. I'm actually for 15% corporation tax and also then to reduce the income tax. That should be the way forward. And also NATO membership to rearrange our security situation. Just yesterday again a big spy scandal in Italy, as we had so many in Austria, with Russian secret service being so active inside the European Union. And that's all very bad. So we need to somehow to discuss and to get real in that one. But unfortunately, Prime Minister Kurz is leading Austria in a completely different direction. He again now is thinking about importing a Russian vaccine which is not approved in Europe. Instead of going for the German vaccine, which is in the approval process, CureVac, that's already delivered and ready, it just needs the approval. He doesn't use his powers to lobby for a German vaccine, but he is going for the Russian vaccine. That's totally the wrong direction. What kind of solidarity we are showing with Italy now and in this spy scandal? Where's the reaction? We should also send out some Russian diplomats, but no. We buy Russian vaccines and give the Russian ambassador to Austria prime time TV coverage as if he would be the guardian angel. And that's all totally wrong. I cannot believe that. The Russians should vaccinate their own people as well. Then they don't have a lot of production. The Russians are not outperforming us in production in Europe. We have the fourth largest level of production and the Russians are number 6. But they just don't vaccinate their own people because even their own people don't trust their own vaccines, and then they sell it to Austria. We can also manufacture. Actually, why are we not manufacturing vaccines? That's also very surprising for me. Austria is one of the main pharmaceutical industrial manufacturing hubs of Europe. Why are we incapable? Incapacitated recently? And that's all totally surprising what is happening in this country to me now in 2021. Pro-Russian again, no support for Ukraine, minimal support, with some money, yes, but where's the support for Ukraine in NATO and in the EU? Obviously nothing. Where has Austria done something for the Balkans during this crisis? Obviously nothing. Serbia is now the superpower of vaccine diplomacy with Russian and Chinese helps vaccinating the neighbors and the Europeans. It takes us months and months to mobilize many sums of vaccines for Kosovo, for Bosnia, for our allies, for our friends in Albania, Macedonia, Montenegro. And then Serbia takes over this kind of leadership role and we do nothing. It's very annoying. Now we do something, we go to Russia to get some vaccines, and that's really very disturbing actually what I see now these days, and the development is actually getting worse. I don't see any kind of decent leadership, and I'm very disappointed on taxation, on the military strategic situation with NATO and with the obligatory draft that should be long abolished, on privatization. Did you hear anything about privatization recently? We have acquired massive new debt, and that was necessary in this crisis, no doubt. But we could then sell something like the railway service and the postal service, some of the other industrial assets and the big things. We could partly privatize Asfinag, but no, we are not. We are just, stuck in some kind of mess. Why not sell OMV? Obviously not to Gazprom, but maybe to British Petroleum or to some American company or German company. Would be much better than the current mess with Russia. No, we are in a big crisis, ideologically and mentality-wise. We are in a big crisis. We are very much misled, and European Austria is further and further away, and that's very worrying. Our partners in the Western Balkans certainly very disappointed, Ukraine very disappointed, Austrian foreign policy, Austrian tax policy, Austrian also the crisis policy. In the beginning it was very good, yes. Also I was surprised, and it was also I didn't know so well the situation. I have apologized already, but that was great leadership in the beginning. But since then we are in a complete mess, and especially this has now really provoked me, this pro-Russian video stunt with the Russian ambassador yesterday in the Austrian media. That was outrageous, to be honest. It was a terrible moment for me. I mean, it was worse when Putin came in 2014 at the visit of shame, and it was worse when Kurz went to Putin in 2018 to re-endorse him for his fourth term election. While now we see we do this pro-Russian stunt while Navalny is rotting under terrible conditions in a gulag of Putin, and we do about nothing. And we do also very little for the Belarusians, obviously, next to nothing. Meeting Tsikhanovskaya maybe when she is in Vienna for some friendly face and some photo opportunity, but in reality a big zero. And this is, I think, consistently everywhere where it matters, we do nothing. Obviously, when Biden is on some video show, we tweet for a common climate agenda, but we say nothing about TTIP. And then Austria is clearly also boycotting, calling against Mercosur agreement. And I think it is a disaster. Absolutely a disaster. And how we now get out of this crisis, I really see no common platform for tax cuts, because that's the logical thing. No support for enlargement. That would be the logical thing, to get more people into the European Union, enlarge the markets, and also be more competitive that way. New trade agreements, Austria is blocking. So it's only new debt and Russian vaccines. That's the answer of Sebastian Kurz. And then also when you see now the big scandals in the issue of the Austrian state industry holding and this ÖBAG, and then you see that the only thing which is the concern is to get jobs for the boys. Yeah, you get anyhow everything is the slogan. Give it to the guys. Make sure that your guys are in the positions of power, but not with a mission to radically reform these institutions and sell it, obviously. Because we were promised already in 2000 to get rid of all these state monsters which the left has created in the Second Republic, and it was always the idea to get rid of them and get them to the private sector and sell them. That was the idea. All this Verbund, FON and Energie AG, get it sold, and also the ASFINAG railway system and everything. And especially all this ÖBAG now has this new name, but it's the old ÖAG, it's the old industry thing. And the only thing which is somehow important is to get their own boys in some kind of super jobs. Yeah? And that's it. That's it. And get the Balkans out, contain Ukraine, make sure the Americans, you tweet nicely but do nothing, and then you make great energy deals with Putin. And Mrs. Kneissl is certainly now a major facilitator in the Russian-Austrian friendship, and that's the situation. Yeah, and that's the plan, it seems to me. It's pretty disappointing and actually quite shocking. Anyhow, you cannot be shocked because it was probably to be expected after the visit of shame in 2018. But honestly, it's pretty sad. So where is European Austria? It's somehow lost in translation at the moment. And the plan to really reform this country towards decency in NATO with lower taxes, 15%, yeah, reduce the income tax to some reasonable levels. Best, of course, to would have 15% flat tax as in Hungary. It's reality today, and it can be done also in Czech Republic, Slovakia. They have more or less a similar system. Let's, okay, if you don't like full flat tax, then let's get the Slovakian system with 24 25% income tax. It's also fine, much better than what we have in Austria. And so we are in a big mess, I would say, yes. Yeah? and the growth prospect is also not there, because we block the labor market reforms. We do nothing like in Germany, where they have really opened the labor market, and we do very little, actually, disappointingly little, for the Balkans. And so I cannot see any major reforms. Also the media sector, also one of my favorites, is mainly about media buying. Media reform is media buying. They have 200 million euros now. They have a budget to make the media tame and compliant, and that obviously works as well. And here we are in the mess. Now, what else? What else? It's a beautiful country, by the way, Austria. This year is the upper Mühlviertel, the granite land above Linz, very beautiful mountainous areas, and we are lucky. We are really living in a green paradise, great cities, great places, unfortunately badly administered and badly led. Must be connected with our history, with the temptations, with Russian kind of love for Austria as well. Maybe they love us too much. Whatever the reason is behind it, maybe we love the Russian ruble too much. That's also one of the reasons, but it's utterly disappointing. Yes, hope is there, but yeah, I was more optimistic already in my life on that one. Yeah, let's see. Let's hope there will be some real change towards a real European Austria over time, and that's my big hope. Over time it will come. More on Pax Europiana, please give me a like as well on this beautiful podcast of mine. I was recently very active. I have now over 212 series where I explain all the reform agenda, economic reform agenda. Also I do a lot of interviews, and also I go in great details with the Eastern European situation, about Kosovo, Albania, Ukraine, and I will also get some more great interviews with experts from the region as well on air in the coming weeks. And I think it's an interesting thing to listen, and I recommend it, obviously. So, for peace and for decency and for prosperity, best regards from Upper Austria.